Welcome to First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, the birthplace of congregational humanism. We carry on that tradition of free thought today, dedicated to promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice. Our web address is firstunitarian.org. Thank you for joining us.
Song of the Universe. Song of the Universe by Danish Marzetti. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Listen carefully. Can you still hear the song, the one sung for you when you were born? The song sung for you by a cosmos in motion, rejoicing at your life. You, the result, the outcome. You, the celebration. Listen carefully. Can you hear it still? A song of possibility, a reminder that we still have time to be who and what we need to be. Listen carefully. The vast expanse echoes a recognition that it's not always easy. Possibilities can be hard to pursue. Roads not taken, wrong turns, destinations that disappoint. Through this, the song persists. The universe sings no less because time and space wear us thin. The music calls us to recognize our limitations, to recognize that the song is best sung with others. And as Perry lights our chalice flame, I invite you to read with me the closing lines of this poem. Here in community. Is it there yet? Here in community, bringing alive that most primordial and original impulse, the desire to sing to the universe who we are, to celebrate and share our lives with others. And our chalice flame is lit. We are so blessed to have Lux String Quartet with us. Let the music begin. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to each of you. Welcome to this Music Mother's Day Sunday at First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. Whoever you are, whether you are here present in body in this space or present with us online, however you identify, whoever you love, whatever brought you here today, you are welcome here. As we gather, let us acknowledge that we walk upon the traditional land of the Dakota Oyate, and in particular of the Wapatuka tribe, who still call this place home and who continue to work for justice and self-determination. We embrace our capacity and strive to have the will to work together reparatively for equity and justice. My name is Reverend Yulin Stoneberg, and I am the interim minister here. It's my pleasure to be part of this Music Sunday with you. I'd like to share just a few need-to-know items, and then you'll hear more about today's. You'll hear more music from the Lux String Quartet, along with many others. Last night, there was a big event in this room, our festive auction, which plays a significant role in our annual income, and I expect you'll hear more details of its success soon. This is really a huge effort, and this year's team was led by Scott and Christy Eller with the support of a big team of helpers who've been working for weeks to make it happen. This is one of those fun, yeah, absolutely. This is one of those kind of fun and time-limited volunteer opportunities, and I hope some of you will consider being one of those volunteers next year. This year's team, I think, would receive your future involvement as the best kind of gratitude. Next Sunday, May 18th, we have our annual flower ceremony. So please plan to bring a bloom or a sprig or a blossom or a frond to contribute to our communal bouquet. We want to have flowers for everyone, so if you happen to have a bounty of tulips or lilacs or forsythia, please bring extra. The annual meeting happens next Sunday too, and all are invited to attend. That's May 18th. That happens at 12:15 here in this room. It's your opportunity to find out about all the organizational plans going on and provide some input. Members will receive a link to the annual report in your inboxes, we think on Tuesday. And if you're curious about FUS's financial outlook and want to take a sneak peek at next year's budget, Lisa Green, our treasurer, invites you to join her in the Dietrich room right across the hall here at 12:15 today. You'll get all the lowdown there. Then on Saturday, May 24th from 5 to 7, all are invited to E-Cubed, which stands for Ethical Explorers Exhibition. This art gallery opening will have refreshments, live performances, and a certificate of achievement ceremony. So come, all of you, bring a friend, bring family, celebrate the creativity of our youth here at FUS. And that happens in the lower assembly hall. After listening to all the beautiful music this morning, I hope you can stay for our mini meal in the lower assembly hall. Once a month, several of our Sunday kitchen volunteers help to provide a glorious meal at Plymouth Congregational Church for folks in our community who might otherwise go hungry. And that happens to be today. So here, this Sunday, we will eat simply so that these others might simply eat. Funds collected for today's mini meals go toward our efforts to provide this free second Sunday dinner for those in need, so please give generously. You'll find a donation jar or a card swipe and a QR code at the head of the food tables downstairs. So, now take all of these things into your hearts, put them on your calendars, and settle in for a lovely morning of music. This time just set aside to soak in the beauty and have a chance to breathe and reflect in these chaotic times. As always, it's such a privilege to be together, especially on Music Sunday. So let the music continue.
Good morning, everyone. We're very honored to be here, honored that Mike invited us to play for you today. And what a view. I mean, playing or listening to music with this view is just like the best morning, in my opinion. So these arrangements of Danish music we're playing were arranged by the Danish String Quartet, as it says in the program. And I think the Danish String Quartet, they might be the hippest quartet out there. I mean, they're just so cool. And they play everything, and they're, you know, a world-class quartet. And about 12 years ago, they just like rented a cabin. They did a GoFundMe. They got a few $1,000s to record this stuff. And they improvised every arrangement, 14 arrangements of Scandinavian folk tunes. They just improvised it. And they put out the recording, not thinking it would become anything. They just wanted to do it for themselves and for the music that they loved. And it became a massive hit, global hit. So popular that they wrote it down in a collection that they call Woodworks. It's on Spotify. I suggest you listen to it. It's just like, it's such great music, really beautiful. And we're very lucky that they created something like this that we can play. A lot of it is very old. Like the first one we played is a 300-year-old set of songs that they still sing at certain weddings on an island in Denmark I won't attempt to pronounce. But we're gonna play two more here. The second one is extremely popular. It's really fun, has some roots in Irish fiddling, which you'll notice at the end. But thank you again for having us here, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the music.
It is essential to allow yourself to know what you know instead of driving yourself to be. These are the words of grandmother Rita Pitka Blumenstein, Yupik elder and the first certified traditional doctor in Alaska. It is essential to allow yourself to know what you know instead of driving yourself to be. These words preface the reflections of Sarah Purtle in a piece she calls Love in This Very Moment. Sarah is a lifelong UU who grew up at Beacon Church in Summit, New Jersey. And by the way, the connection to this congregation is that is where Dr. J. Exodus Hooper is currently serving. Sarah is a songwriter, including a song you may know, My Roots Go Down. She's also an author. Her newest novel, An Outbreak of Peace, received a national award for its focus on changing racism. This particular reflection seemed to me particularly fitting for Mother's Day, and so I share it with you. In Sarah Purtle's words, I washed my hands carefully before entering the neonatal intensive care unit where my newborn son fought for his life. He weighed only 2 pounds and was born 3 months earlier. I kept vigil by spending the whole day alongside him. He rested inside an isolette, but I could extend my arms and contact him through 2 small holes. When I arrived and paused to wash my hands, I used that moment to pray and notice I was entering sacred ground. Machines whirred and brought air through tubes. The first day, I'd watch parents trying to stroke their child's arm through the opening. It was too much. The baby flared in self-protection, and they felt pushed away. How could I do this differently? As I extended my hands into his isolette, I sensed what kind of touch he could receive. It changed from moment to moment. Could I cradle his head, or was that too much? Could I offer a pinky finger for him to grip? Would it be helpful to scoop my hand and gently cup his feet? That kept his legs flexed. Some days, any touch at all felt invasive, so I listened carefully to what he needed. There was a phrase I repeated to orient me. What will say love to you today? One night, he developed a raging infection. In grief, I waited for a new strong medicine to arrive at the hospital by truck from the airport. And standing helpless, I asked, what would say love? Right then, it meant to stay by his side late into the night, and I spoke to him through the glass. If you can, please choose to stay here. The medicine is coming soon. He swiveled his head, and our eyes met. That was back in 1984. Today, he was a strong man in his 30s. Throughout his childhood and still today, that same phrase travels with us. I've used it as a compass when I want to come through with real support. When he was a toddler in tears, during rocky times, even bringing him to college, it also comes up now in day-to-day living. If we're preparing to take a walk because there's something pressing on his mind, I want to get the right balance of listening while giving space. So I ask inwardly beforehand, what will say love to you today? Now, as we experience more music, I invite you to reflect on the kind of mothering love we might both receive and offer to each other and to the world. What is the kindest thing you could hear at this moment? How does love right now move you to action? What is the love that answers your deepest longings, that song of the universal that affirms your inalienable place in the family of all things? So the second half of this morning's program, including the piece you just heard, features the music of Norwegian composer Ola Gjeilo. The culminating piece will be his Song of the Universal, which uses Walt Whitman's poem of the same name as text. Song of the Universal. In that poem, Whitman celebrates the beauty and potential of this country, despite its imperfections, embracing in it a vision of a future where the good, unity, faith, and the enduring power of the human spirit will prevail. I wonder if he would be inspired to write such a poem today. Could we? Can we embrace such a vision now? Last week we talked about how the future begins with us imagining what can be. And when we're aware of the power of our imaginings, choosing to imagine the future that we long for rather than the future that we fear. The future is dependent on what we can imagine, and our imaginings depend on us connecting to that which we long for. Longing, praying, dreaming, imagining. My colleague, Marisol Caballero, has shared that while she doesn't feel she knows how to pray, she aspires to it because she sees prayer as a way to place herself, quote, in the company of souls throughout the millennia who have also hoped and cried, were sickened with worry, loved desperately, and felt impossible levels of joy, unquote. She says prayer allows her to join those who have reached into their chests, yanked out their hearts, and offered them to this world. These words really resonate with my own longings right now. I have many tears to cry, many fears to cry out, to be able to love desperately and to feel joy. You know, I want to be able to yank out my heart and offer it to this world. And what is longing but a kind of prayer? Longing enjoins us with all the intensity of feeling that's springing up all around us. Our longing, even in the clamor, even in all the storms, insists that we will continue to turn our eyes and our hearts toward beauty, toward unity, toward a vision of a world where each person can flourish as their true selves. Longing is, as we expressed in our chalice lighting words, longing is that primordial and original impulse, the desire to sing to the universe who we are and to celebrate and share our lives with others. This is indeed the song of the universe. The longing to be part of a choir of 1,000, parts interwoven, hearts beating in unison, where we can each add our own voice and our deepest yearnings and our longings, singing with and for one another the song of the universal, the song of love. May it be so.
Good morning. My name is Joyce Vendyssel, and I'm on the board of the Foundation of First Unitarian Society. First Unitarian Society is a free, independent, and self-governing humanist community, the home of congregational humanism. As members and friends of this community, we share our time and energy, our creativity, imagination, and vision, our talents, skills, and our gifts of treasure. All that this community can be depends on the financial support that makes real our shared values and vision. You are invited to give generously and joyfully as you are willing and able as the baskets pass. Alternatively, you could use the QR code. It's not there? Oh, it is now, good. On the screen to get our donor page where you can choose to support our annual fund. Or if you wish, you can stop by the office with your donation. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Okay, so here we are. We have a lot of people joining us now for the remainder of our program. Some additional musicians are coming on stage, so I just wanted to take a quick moment to express my gratitude. First, to the current and former members and staff of FUS who have prioritized and invested in the music program to make special music services like this possible. This morning, I lost my place already. My apologies. This morning was made possible in part thanks to a grant from the FUS Foundation, and I feel extremely fortunate to be part of such a progressive, generous, and supportive community. Secondly, thank you to our wonderful performers today. We have the Lux String Quartet was beautiful. Thank you so much. And Amos Lucidi, our own pianist. Amos, thank you. And we are now joined by some additional musicians. We have a group of students from Minnesota Youth Symphonies who were coached by Mura Xiong. Yay! And we have two additional string players from the violin tree of Ellen Hacker. So thanks for being here as well. Also joining us is our FUS Chorus, which is a longstanding volunteer choir, and we're supported today by some professional section leaders and some high school section supporters who have added a lot to this organization, and thank you for being here today. Just want to take a moment to also thank our building manager, Tim Rail. Specifically wanted to shout him out since he is constantly working to make this place look great. And there are so many events in here all the time. Last night was the auction, and this morning we came in and everything was set up, just ready to go for the Music Sunday. So thank you, Tim. And finally, a thank you to all the mothers and mothering caretakers here with us and virtually today. Love you, Mom. And specifically to Molly, my partner, I'm so thankful for you every day, for your light and joy and your determined spirit that inspires our whole family. Love you. Okay, on to the music. Our first choral selection today is by Ariane Abela and Ruthie Prillaman, and it was written partly to commemorate the 50-year anniversary of the first women into the Yale undergraduate school, which was in 1969. In her book, Yale Needs Women, author Anne Gardner Perkins recounts the stories of these first women at Yale and the people who helped enact the change. Perkins describes the organizing efforts of those early years, from a protest by freshman women at an alumni lunch to the creation of advocacy groups like Women and Men for a Better Yale, and petitions like one signed by 1,900 students calling for an end to gender quotas. There was a requirement to have much, much more men than women by the president. Gender quotas were eliminated in 1972, which was just 11 years before I was born. This fight is constant and certainly ongoing, and progress is always made thanks to the courage of those willing to take risks and demand a better world. As Anne Perkins says in Yale Needs Women, there are women who have gone first and women who have spoken out in every town and city in this country. The nation needs still more of them. The battle to make Yale and other colleges and workplaces safe and fair places for women is not yet done. Those words were published in 2019, and certainly this work is more necessary than ever. Thank you for continuing to push back against injustice and for being here with us this morning to share in the gift of music.
Wow. I want to thank you all so much for your presence here today. Your presence is a great way of offering your gratitude to Lux String Quartet for being here with us, and to the youth musicians present, and also our chorus of singers, and of course to Mike Vasich, our music director. Thank you for all that you did to put this together. So may today's music have filled you with gratitude, with joy, with hope, offered you a much-needed oasis in troubling times, and inspired you to embrace your longings. As Perry comes to extinguish our chalice, please join me in speaking the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All of these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again. And our closing words are those of John Cummins, who served First Universalist Church here in Minneapolis from 1963 to 1986. He was renowned for his commitment to Unitarian Universalism. He viewed it as a value system that could heal and unite forces among human cultures and within the human family. That is indeed the song of the universal. Here are his words, slightly adapted. May we never rest until every child of earth in every generation is free from all prisons of the mind and of the body and of the spirit, until the earth and the hills and the seas shall dance, and the universe itself resound with a joyful cry, the song of the universal. May it be so. Go in peace and in love.